There are three kinds of dangerous, and you have met at least one. The first one charms you, walks into the room, and the temperature changes, and somehow the whole evening is about them, and you are glad it is. The second one manages you. Never the center of anything, always 3 moves ahead, arranging people like furniture, and the third one invades you and feels almost nothing while doing it. 3 different wirings, 3 completely different threats. And the reason you keep getting blindsided is that you were watching for one kind of dangerous and the other 2 walked straight past you. I'm going to show you all 3. Psychologists gave this cluster a name, and I will tell you exactly where it comes from. One composite case for each: the charmer, the manager, the invader, and the single tell that gives each of them away. Then the turn, the one dark thing all 3 share, and why knowing it changes how you read every room. And stay to the end, because I am also going to tell you when these words do not apply. That part matters more than the labels do, because the fastest way to misjudge a person is to reach for one of these names too early. Start with the research, because the name is precise. In 2002, 2 psychologists, Paulhus and Williams, published a short paper that named what they called the Dark Triad, 3 offensive but non-pathological personality traits that keep turning up together: narcissism, Machiavellianism, and psychopathy. Read that word again: non-pathological. These are traits measured in ordinary people on a scale, not disorders stamped on a chart. They studied the 3 side by side and found they were correlated but not the same. Their phrase for it was exact, overlapping but distinct. 3 different dark wirings, sharing one root. So let us take them one at a time. Case 1. The charmer. In the research, subclinical narcissism is grandiosity, entitlement, and a hunger to be admired, wrapped around a genuine blind spot about the self. Narcissists in these studies consistently overrate themselves. They believe the performance. So picture the composite. He is magnetic. He remembers the small detail you mentioned once, and for one evening you feel like the most interesting person alive. And then, slowly, you notice the pattern. Every story returns to him. Your good news becomes a setup for his. The admiration has to keep flowing, and the moment it stops, so does the warmth. The tell is not the charm. The tell is what happens the first time the spotlight turns toward you. Case 2. The manager. Machiavellianism is the strategist of the 3. The name comes straight from Machiavelli, from a 1970s inventory built on his writing. The core is cold, calculating, ends justify the means. And here is the detail the research is clear about. Unlike the narcissist, the Machiavellian is not self-deceived, grounded, reality-based, no illusions. Picture her. She is not loud, not needy. She just always seems to be 3 moves ahead. Alliances shift in her favor, and you can never quite point to when. Information reaches the exact person who will use it. The tell is not a lie you catch. The tell is realizing too late that a situation was arranged and you were one of the pieces. Case 3. The invader. Subclinical psychopathy in this research is high impulsivity and thrill-seeking, and the defining feature, very low empathy and very low anxiety. Where the other 2 want something from you, this one is simply missing the break the rest of us feel. Picture him, fearless in a way that reads as confidence, charming on a shorter fuse than the narcissist, but the thing you can never quite name is the flatness underneath. No nerves before what should cause them, no weight after what should leave a mark. The tell is not a cruelty you can point to. The tell is the calm, the complete absence of the anxiety the moment should have carried, because the alarm the rest of us feel simply never rings. Now the turn. 3 wirings this different: the needy charmer, the cold strategist, the fearless invader, and you would expect nothing in common. But when Paulhus and Williams mapped all 3 onto the basic dimensions of personality, exactly one thing was shared by all of them. Not confidence, not intelligence. One trait: low agreeableness. Underneath the charm, the strategy, and the calm sits the same cold indifference to you. Later researchers named that shared core more precisely: callousness fused with manipulation. And here is why it matters. You cannot sort these people by how warm they feel, because 2 of the 3 can perform warmth on command. What they share is not a style. It is that, to each of them, you are a means to an end. You were reading the temperature, and the danger was never in the temperature. And now the part most videos like this will never say: these are traits, not verdicts. Narcissism, Machiavellianism, psychopathy, as the researchers use them here, are measured on a scale in ordinary people, and most people score low on all three. Low. This is not a hidden epidemic. A subclinical trait is not the clinical disorder that shares its name, and it is not a diagnosis you are qualified to hand anyone. That includes me. A selfish week is not narcissism. One calculated decision is not Machiavellianism. A moment of numbness is not psychopathy. What you are learning to recognize is not a person to convict. It is a pattern, repeated, directional, and always leaving you as the means. Reach for the label too fast and you become a little of the thing you fear. Hold it carefully and it gives you your footing back. So, how do you hold your ground against each? 3 threats, 3 moves. Against the charmer, watch the turn, not the entrance. Anyone can dazzle on arrival. Notice what happens the first time. Attention has to flow toward you instead of away. Warmth that survives that moment is real. Warmth that curdles was a transaction. Against the manager, slow everything down and follow the outcomes, not the words. Ask one question. When the dust settles, who keeps ending up better off and who keeps paying? A run of arrangements that always resolve one direction is your answer, no matter how reasonable each step sounded. And against the invader, the one with no break, do not try to fix or out-argue. Believe the flatness the first time you see it, and keep your distance. Underneath all 3, the slower you are to trust, the less any of them can use. That is the Dark Triad. The charmer, the manager, the invader. 3 wirings, 1 cold root, and a danger that was never in the temperature. But there is a harder question sitting underneath this one. Not how you spot them. Why some of us keep walking straight toward exactly this, mistaking the intensity for chemistry, the strategy for competence, the flatness for strength. That is not bad luck. That is a profile. And that is the next case. I am Professor Cole. Tell me in the comments which of the 3 you recognized first. And if you would rather read the pattern than be read by it, subscribe. I will read the next one with you.